Alright, today I'm going to be showing you the newest deck I built, this blue-green. It was supposed to be a deck of sea and sky. My original idea was every creature would either be from the ocean or it would fly. It would be some kind of flying creature. Then when I started stacking up cards, started pulling stuff out of my collection, and it veered pretty far off from my mental image. Instead of being a deck of sea and sky, it's more of a blue-green, good stuff, test bed, see how things work. So anyway, the commander I chose is Tatyova. I kind of didn't want to build Tatyova because I already have Edric as a blue-green deck. I have Galadriel as a blue-green deck, but that's not really mine. It's a precon. I didn't really build it, I just modified it. But only with Lord of the Rings cards. I did not use any in-universe magic cards for Galadriel. But anyway, I decided to build Tatyova because the idea was interesting. You don't see in sky. I knew I had a lot of the cards, so it would be easy to build. I wouldn't have to buy that much or trade for that much. So anyway, what am I doing? 3 blue-green for a 3/3 Merfolk Druid. Whenever land enters battlefield under control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. And it's not a May. I fucking have to. So, if I forget, Judge. He's fucking up the game. Alright, so let's start with the land suite. And we started with something goofy. Arena. This is the original version of the card. It was reprinted in Time Spiral. Either Time Spiral as a special, whatever the fuck it was called, or Time Spiral Remastered, one of the two. I'm pretty sure Time Spiral. So Arena, it's a land that produces no mana. They don't do that anymore. One of the things they did a few years ago, probably about 20 years ago, is they said, if a land doesn't produce mana, it's pretty much just like in the free enchantment. So what's the point? So lands have to produce mana, which is pretty good. I mean, it makes sense. So anyway, this non-mana producing free enchantment, 3 tap, choose one of your creatures and have your opponents... Oh, wait. It's been so long since I read this card. It's been so long since I read it. Choose one of your creatures and have your opponent choose one of his or her creatures. Both become tapped. Your creature does damage, power damage, and... Okay, it's been so long since I read this card that I forgot my opponent chooses one of his creatures to send into the arena of combat. I forgot that I don't choose, so I'm taking that out. If I don't choose, they're just going to send in something stupid or something big and kill my creature, so fuck that. So let's keep going. Breeding Pool. Shockland. Pretty simple. Produces blue or green. Hurts me if I play it untapped. Doesn't hurt me if I play tapped. Command Tower. Tour de Commandant. Coral Atoll. Comes into play tapped. When it comes into play, I bounce an untapped island I control to its owner hand, or I bury it. But it gives me 1 blue and colorless. This is not a good card. Not only does it come into play tapped, but it prevents me. I have to bounce an untapped island, specifically island and one that isn't tapped. So it's kind of retarded as far as my development. But since I bounce a land back to my hand, I can replay it with and get a trigger from Tatyova. So that's one. Plus, it fits the sea and sky theme. Coral Atoll. Trying to get the glare off. If I turn on the light, that doesn't really help at all. Anyway, it's a beautiful card, John Avon. If you don't have one in your art collection, I highly recommend it. Ghost Quarter. Sometimes other people play bullshit lands too, and sometimes I want them to stop playing that bullshit land, so I have to deal with it. Ghost Quarter deals with it. Sacrifice it, they go find a basic land, put it into play, and shuffle the library. Ghost Town. Okay, this is kind of another... Why the hell does he have this in here? Well, landfall. Although I don't really have that many landfall triggers in the deck. It's not a landfall deck. It's just when a land comes into play, I gain life and draw a card from Tatyova and AC. So I'm still tweaking the deck, still deciding what exactly it's going to be. Right now it's more of a test bed. But anyway, Ghost Town, add 1 colorless mana to my mana pool. And then I can bounce it back during somebody else's turn. I cannot bounce it on my turn. But it gives me a land in my hand to recast, to replay. Now I've got Burgeoning in the deck. So if somebody plays, if I have Tatyova out, Ghost Town out, and Burgeoning, if one of my opponents plays a land, I can bounce Ghost Town back to my hand, and then because I played a land, I can replay Ghost Town because of Burgeoning, and I'll get a life and draw a card on their turn. So I can do that on every opponent's turn. That's the reason Ghost Town is in here. These towers, these monuments look oddly suspect. I wonder if there's some kind of hidden message in there. Hinterland Harbor comes to play tap, must have Forest Island, produces blue and green, yeah. Misty Rainforest, goes and finds a forest or island, yeah, everybody knows it. Reliquary Tower. I expect to be drawing a lot of cards. A lot. It might not work out that way. I might be unpleasantly surprised that the deck does not function the way I hope it functions. But if it does, I will want to not have to discard a bunch of cards every turn. Although I have made allowances for that. Rashad Port. This is in here also mainly to fulfill the sea and sky theme that I originally had. I don't think this is really going to be that useful in a commander game. I've got 3 opponents. But if, say, only one of them has Urborg and Cabal Coffers, if I keep tapping his coffers during his upkeep, he's on par with us. No, you will not be shooting ahead of us. You're going to stay down here in the pits with your friends, with your buddies. Simic Growth Paint. Should I explain these cards more? I mean, I really don't know how many people watch these videos or how many people just listen to them. So if you're just listening, before I said, you know, maximum hand size, that's Reliquary Tower. It's a land, you have no maximum hand size, taps for 1 colorless. Now I'm looking at Rashad Port. It taps for 1 colorless, or I can spend a colorless, tap it, and tap target land. So if somebody does untap, upkeep, during their upkeep, if I tap down, say, Cabal Coffers, then they either have to use it during their upkeep or it's tapped and they cannot use it during their main phase, because after the upkeep phase, their mana pool will empty. So, and I love the art. Oh, it's a beautiful card. I wish Jerry Turretilli had done more cards. He's done a few, and I think I've got most of them, because I really love his art. I really love his use of color, his line work. It's a gorgeous card. I've always liked the art on Rashad Port ever since I first saw it. So that's in the deck. Simic Growth Chamber comes into play tapped. When it comes into play, bounce a land from my hand, from play back to my hand. It taps for blue and a green. So, like Coral Atoll, it retards my development of mana. Coral Atoll, though, says the island, the specific island, has to be untapped. Simic Growth Chamber doesn't give a shit. Simic Growth Chamber just says, pick up a land. I've got this tapped forest, is that okay? I don't care, just fucking put it back in your hand and play me. Alright, fair enough. Falling Glaciers. Comes into play tapped. 1 tap, search a library for a base land, put into play tapped. This does not count towards your 1 land per turn limit. Shuffle, and then bounces back your hand. So you can replay it, and then another turn cycle, you can activate it. Oh god, this thing is so fucking slow, but it's so goddamn reliable. And it gives me a land, another land that I'm bouncing back to my hand, feeding Tatyova, feeding the gain life and draw a card. So that's why that's in there. Canyon Serpentin. Winding Canyons. Adds a colorless mana by mana pool, or I could spend 2 and tap it. So 3. I need 3 lands if I don't have any artifacts or creatures that provide the mana. Tap 2 to activate it. Tap it to activate it. Until in turn you could play creatures as though they had flash. Well, that's kind of nice. It's kind of, I mean, it's a bit mana intensive, but it's color agnostic. It doesn't care about the color. It doesn't care about the color of the creatures. It doesn't care about the color of mana. And I've got Seedborn Muse in the deck. Spoiler alert. So if I have Seedborn Muse, every turn when I'm untapping with everybody else, I can keep playing more and more creatures for free. Haha! Free creatures are good. Well, not really free, but I can flash them into play at the end of each player's turn. So at the end of somebody's turn, activate Canyons, flash some creature into play, and then untap with the next guy. At the end of his turn, flash something into play, untap with the next, and so on. I think you get the point. Yevmaya Coast. I chose this one because I got it out of a pack with Dominaria. As you can see, I really got good monetary value out of that pack. This is my rare. And as you know, these are at €1 a piece. The equivalent of a €5 pack of cards. I don't open packs very often because of shit like this. Because odds are, you are not going to get your value. It's gambling. It is fucking... In fact, one of the lads I play with, he used to gamble a lot. He used to go to the fucking casino and burn money. And then he discovered magic. He's like, I can gamble with packs! So he replaced his poker addiction with a pack addiction. And if you lose in poker, that's it. Your money's gone. Fuck off. You lose in magic, at least you can get something back out of it in the worst case. It might only be 10 cents on the euro, but it's something. For Tatyova's lands, and to be honest, I feel like the deck is incomplete until I get a Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and a Yevmaya Hollow. Next pay cycle, I should get my small bonus, and I'll probably pick up her Nykthos and Yevmaya Hollow. So these are the lands I chose for her. I chose the Lorwyn, Rob Alexander, Vitek lands. I think, yeah, they go like this. And what's kind of frustrating is I've got, 3 foil islands, and I've only got 1 foil forest. I should get more I should get more shiny trees. Everybody loves shiny trees. Happy shiny little tree. I don't want to show her yet. Alright, let's look at the artifacts. Solemn Simulacrum comes into play. Go find a basic land card, put in play, tap, shuffle. When it dies, draw a card. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody knows what the fuck this does. The Chroma's Memorial. So, there's a, not really theme, but the deck can tap down all non-flying creatures. The deck has cards to tap all non-flying creatures whenever the hell I feel like it, if I have the mana for it. So if all my creatures fly, and I tap down all non-flying creatures, my creatures aren't affected and they can smash face. So 7, kind of expensive for an artifact, and everybody knows how quickly artifacts can be blown up in this game. But creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection black, protection red. Nice. So that's to get my creatures through, get them flying, let them smash, give them the trample. I'm probably going to have a lot of small creatures. It's the way I built the deck, but I should get a lot of them. I'm really curious to see if this is going to work the way I think it works, or if it's going to be like Will Smith. I saw that going differently in my mind, you know, and the deck doesn't do what I want it to do. Conjurer's Closet, another expensive artifact. Beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature control, then return it to play under your control. Now, that's kind of funny, because usually these sort of effects, you exile target creature control, then return to play under its owner's control. This is, nah, you can keep it, mate. You can keep that card. Have a good time. And I've got quite a few creatures in here with some kind of coming into play trigger, so that's why I put that in here. Crystal Shib. So, this is Crystal Shard. It's a 3-mana artifact. 3 or 1 blue. I'll probably be spending 1 blue. Tap. Return a creature in play back to its owner's hand unless they pay 1. Well, since paying 1 is usually not going to be that hard most of the time, unless somebody forgets. If I play Crystal Shard and people forget and they tap out, hey, you're tapped out. Oh shit, you've got that shard. Yes, I do, and I don't want to get hit with that motherfucker, so put him back in your hand. God damn it, I should have left the mana open, but you didn't. This is mainly for my creatures, to bounce them back to my hand so I can reuse their enter the battlefield abilities. And financially, if you need this effect, financially this card, even in foil, is pretty cheap, because there's different versions of it. Alright, there's the kettle, sounded like a 747. Okay, let's keep going with Tatyova. So I had to shift rooms. Alright, so let's talk about Arena first. So I'm taking this out. I forgot that my opponent chooses the creature. So 3 tap, choose one of your creatures and have one of your opponents choose one of their motherfuckers. If I don't choose the creature, what's the fucking point? So here's what I'm thinking about putting in instead. Either Looty Booty, 200 green for a 1/4 Noble Beast. Lets me play more lands, which is good in a deck that wants to play lands. 6, tap, 4 green, tap. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can show off a creature card with CMC less than or equal to the number of lands you control from among them, and throw it into play. And the rest go on the bottom. Or there's this. Temporal Distortion. 3 blue for an enchantment. Whenever a creature or land becomes tapped, put an hourglass counter on it. Permanents with hourglass counters on them do not untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, which is after untap, remove all hourglass counters from permanents that player controls. So, I'm planning on having Chronos Memorial. It's in the deck. My creatures get vigilance, so they won't tap when they attack. I also have Seedborn Muse in the deck. She says untap with everybody else during their untap step. So if I have my permanents with hourglass counters on them, they won't untap during my untap step, but they will untap for everybody else's untap step. So I love the art. Oh, I love the art of this card. Stephanie Law. She's another one of those great artists like Jerry Territrulli that didn't do enough cards. Not really. I just love the work. Now they've got this fucking AI shit, like that fat dude with the guitar and goddamn ether crap. So I'm thinking, well, why not? What if I just run Temporal Distortion and see how it works? Some of you might have realized I love running old cards that do strange things that people either never knew about or forgotten about. And probably a lot of you are looking at this and thinking, when did they print that? That's fucking amazing. And some of you are thinking, when did they print that? That's absolute bullshit. So let's see how that works. Okay, let's keep going with the actual deck. Okay, Shadow Spear. 1 to cast, 2 to equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, trample lifelink, permanents your opponent's control, lose hexproof and indestructible until... That part, a lot of times it's not relevant. A lot of times it's kind of like tacked on and you're like, okay, whatever. But there's a few times I've had Shadow Spear. And my opponents, they didn't think about it either. And there's some hexproof or indestructible attacker, and I trigger it. And I kill the attacker. Or I bounce the hexproof dude. And they're like, what the hell just happened? Should have remembered the card did. I know you read the card, but you just didn't remember it. Soul Ring. It does what it does. Talisman of Curiosity. I'm curious to see if this is going to be better than a land search card. Maybe, maybe not. In any case, it's going to give me colors and hurt me. Hurt me, baby. AC, Tyrant of Garrison. Now, he could be the commander. And maybe he should be the commander. So, she's 3/3, he's 5/5. She costs 5, he costs 6. Both of them say... No, she doesn't say that. I can play additional land on each of my turns. Whenever land enters the battlefield under my control, I may draw a card. She says, look, dude, you can't play any more lands from me, but whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you will gain a life and you will draw a card. You got that? He's like, yeah, you can do it if you want. You can do it if you remember. She's, you better remember, you son of a bitch. So, AC is in the deck. Let's put that in. Fucking stay there. And the glare. Okay, that's good enough. Coiling Oracle. He's another card that's fallen out of favor. I haven't seen anybody play one of these guys in a long time. It's Damascus tea. A bit of honey and milk. Normally I don't put milk in the tea, but this, it's heavy. It's a black tea. Alright, blue and a green for a 1/1 Snake Elf Druid. When Coiling Oracle comes into play, show off the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it into play. Otherwise, put it in your hand. Either way, you're getting a card. Either you're getting a free land and a free land drop, or you're drawing a card. Just off this guy coming into play. Cold-Eyed Selkie. Alright, so Cold-Eyed Sexy here. 1 green, blue hybrid. 1/1 Island Walking Merfolk Rogue. If only I could make her more powerful, because whenever she deals combat damage to a player, I draw that many cards. So, the bigger she is, the more cards she gets. I really should put a Mercfiend Liege in this deck. I don't have one on hand. Next time I order any cards, I'll get this, if this deck survives, if it is actually fun to play, I'll get a Mercfiend Liege. So if I have Mercfiend Liege and her in play, she'll be a 3/3. Island Walk. Deals 3 damage, get me 3 cards. Nice. Overbeing a Myth. 5 green, blue hybrid. Power and toughness equal to the number of cards in my hand. At the beginning of my draw step, draw a card. I'm not sure how... Oftentimes, I've taken out cards like this in anything that isn't because of the land situation. So this could be really hard to cast. Even though the deck is only those 2 colors, I'm not playing a 3-color deck, this could be really hard to cast depending on how many colorless mana producers I get on the land situation. So I just have to monitor that, have to watch out for it. I do want to play this though, because I do like the card. I like the way it looks, I like what it does. It's big, it drives me cards. It's good. Brian Baker Zagana. She used to be a very popular commander, but she's fallen out of favor. That could be the theme of the deck. Cards that have fallen out of favor. So Prime Speaker Zagana here. 2 blue, green. So 6 mana. 6 mana for a 1/1. Why the fuck would you pay 6 mana for a 1/1? Because she comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on her, where that's the greatest power among other creatures you control. And when she enters the battlefield, you draw cards equal to her power. And I've got Conjurer's Closet. So even if she comes in And the only creature I have that's interesting is, let's say it's Tatyova. Let's say she falls down. So I play her, I get 3 cards. Let's say I play Conjurer's Closet. So at the end of the turn, she goes in the closet, comes back out, and I get 3 more cards. And if I can do that every turn, that's value. And as I get bigger creatures, she'll get bigger and I'll draw more cards. So that's why she's in here. Plasm Capture. Blue, blue, green, green, can't target spell. This is basically Mana Drain. Mana Drain where you get the color. So Mana Drain costs 2 blue. And at the beginning of your next main phase, you get colorless mana for whatever the spell was. This is Mana Drain, but the double green basically says that mana that you get from the spell. So if you counter a 5 mana spell during your next main, you get 5 mana. With Mana Drain, it's colorless. You get 5 colorless. Have fun. This says you can do whatever you want, bro. You can have 1 of each color. You can have 3 black and 2 blue. However you want, baby. Go to town. Void Slime. Counter-target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. All for the low price of blue, blue, green. So basically this is disallow. This is disallow where instead of 1 colorless blue, blue, it's green, blue, blue. Does the same damn thing though. Abyshin, Cephalid Emperor. 4 blue, blue for a 3/3 Cephalid legend. And if you're wondering where the other Cephalid are, your guess is as good as mine. They had them in Odyssey and then they forgot about it. They just said, yeah, we're not doing any more of this stuff. No more squid people. So what does Squid Head do? Tap an untapped Cephalid you control, and he's the only one in the deck. Tap target permanent. Not very exciting. Or, wow, blue, 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 tap all creatures without flying. So like I said, if I've got the Chromeless Memorial, all my creatures are flying, so they won't get tapped. If I cast Temporal Distortion, if I've got Temporal Distortion in play, and I tap all creatures without flying, they all get, it doesn't care why they got tapped. They all get hourglass counters on them, so they will not untap until the next turn. They will force the controller to skip a turn with them. So that's kind of a good interaction there. Whether or not it's going to work out the way I think it will, that remains to be seen. And there's a chance that it won't. But anyway, so he's an old card from Odyssey I've had for a long time. He was in the original version of this deck when basically it was mostly Merfolk. I took Modern Merfolk and I expanded it into a commander deck, and it was not satisfying. It was not satisfactory at all. So now I'm recycling some of those ideas, some of those cards into this green-blue because I just kept this guy. I never got rid of him because he's not very desirable. There is no support for Cephalid, so there's no real tribal push to have him. Most people, they don't want to use his abilities. So I kept him, and I like him. What else? Okay, Archaeomancer. So 2 blue blue, 1/2 human sorcerer. She drops down, and I get to pull an instant or sorcery out of my graveyard, put it back in my hand. Consecrated Sphinx. I hate the original Consecrated Sphinx. I don't like the art at all. Normally I like Mike Zug's work, Mark Zug. I don't like the way Mark Zug did the original Mirrodin Besieged. It's just ugly. I don't like looking at it. So I was really happy when they had this in the Amonkhet special edition. So Sphinx here, 4 blue blue for a 4/6 flyer. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. So if I get the Sphinx out, I'll just set him aside. I'll talk about it in a minute. Deep Sea Kraken. Let's get cracking. 7 blue blue blue. That's 10 mana. That's a lot of mana. Fuck that. For 6/6 unblockable, fuck that. But I can suspend him 9, 2 and a blue. And whenever an opponent plays a spell, If he's suspended, remove a time counter. So I just throw him out there on turn 3, and I just wait maybe 2 turns, and then bang, I've got a 6/6 unblockable that's coming down, and everybody can see it, and everybody can fucking panic. Empress Galena. Alright, Empress Galena, 3 blue for a 1/3 legend. Not very good stats for that mana cost, but blue, tap, gain control of the target legend or legendary permanent. You just gain control of it. It's just yours. You don't have to spend any more mana. She doesn't have to stay tapped. You don't have to sacrifice nothing. You just, hey, I like your commander. Hey, I like Urborg. Hey, I like your Nykthos. You just steal shit. Frost Titan. I don't know why. I just want to try this guy. I just wanted to stick him in and see if he's any good at all. I've had one for years because I like this art. He just looks really cool, really imposing. But compared to the other Titans, he's the shitty one. 4 blue for a 6/6. When he becomes a target of spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless they pay 2. Okay, how often is that going to happen? Not very goddamn often. When he comes to play or attacks, tap target permanent. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. You know, with the tap things I have, with the way the deck is going, he could work, he could be good, or he could fall on his face and be absolutely worthless. I don't know, I'll find out. Harbinger of the Tides. Which is kind of funny that he is right behind the Frost Titan. So, Harbinger of the Tides. 2 blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. I can play him, I can make him flashy for 2 more. So for 4, 2 colors blue, I can make him flashy. And when he comes into play, I may return target tapped creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. So there's things like, I could attack with Frost Titan, tap a creature, and then bring the Harbinger of the Tides into play, bounce it back to their owner's hand, and then run him through the Conjurer's Closet to bounce something else. I'm still working on the deck. Alright, so I've got 2 of these effects. I could have 3. I could have the... what is it? Hang on a second. Just need to check on something. And I need both hands to do it. God damn it. Fucking, that's not incorrect. God damn it. There. Okay, I just need to monitor something. So, I could have it's mischievous something. I forget what the hell the fucking thing's name is. It's from Foundations. When you play your second spell, you get a 1/1 blue fairy token of flying. I forget what the hell he's called. I've got one in Edric, though. So, Homunculus Horde. 3 and a blue for a 2/2. When you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you might draw 2 cards. So these guys are a pretty good combo. And the idea is eventually I could put Coat of Arms, but I want to see how well this works first. If this guy and the other one that's similar, if they go to town, if they work really well, then I'll think about shoving Coat of Arms into the deck. Because just having a bunch of 2/2s, who cares? Unless they all have flying, first strike, trample, protection from black, protection from red. Then they get really interesting. And if I put in Coat of Arms, and let's say I've got 6 of them, so they're all 7/7s, that's really interesting. So that's kind of a combo. I'm waiting to see how well it works. King Crab. 4 blue for 4/5. 1 blue and 1 and a blue tap. Put target green creature on top of its owner's library. Yes, I did think about that. Tidal Visionary. blue for a 1/1 wizard. Tap, target creature becomes a color of your choice until end turn. So these guys are best friends. He turns something green if it's not green, and he says, I don't like that, and he throws it back. Cool, Realm Right. So this guy should be, if I get him out early, the earlier I can find him, get him out, the better. Put him in play, name Island. So all the lands I have that produce colorless will produce, be able to produce blue. And all my forests will be tropical islands. So that'll be nice. If you play any deck with blue, and you're having trouble getting one of the colors, pick up one of these guys. They're cheap. Even in foil, they don't cost that much. And they're so handy. One blue, he comes down, you look at your hand, okay, what am I going to have trouble casting? I've got a lot of cards with black. Okay, so you say all your lands are swamp, assuming you don't have an Urborg in the deck to rely on. Or, everything's white, and you need more white. Okay, all lands I control are plains, in addition to their other mana types and other land types. Sword of Temptation, 2 blue for a 2/2 fairy wizard. When comes into play, steal. See, Empress Galena just takes the creature. It's just mine. The legend or legend is mine. Sword of Temptation here. If they become untapped, the creature goes back to its original controller. You just lose it. Or if it gets killed. If Empress Galena gets killed, I still get to keep everything she stole. That's a God of the Sea. See, this is where I'm leaning into the Sea and Sky theme. 2 and a blue for a 5/5 legendary enchantment creature god with Indestructible. Of course, I need Devotion to blue of 5 in a blue-green deck, which shouldn't be too hard, but sometimes it is. Beginning of your upkeep, scry 1 in a blue. Target creature control cannot be blocked this turn. Yeah, wait and see if that is useful or not, or if maybe I should put in the other Thassa. Thinking about it. Thieving Skydiver. A lot of people play equipment in Commander. I don't know if you've noticed. A lot of them are really tasty, really nice. So she comes into play. 1 in a blue. Kick her X. When she comes to the battlefield, if she was kicked, gain control of target artifact with CMC X or less. If it was an equipment, attach it to her. Yeah, the controller doesn't change. I only get it for 1 turn, because next turn, whoever's equipment it is, whoever actually owns the card, can pay the equip cost to equip it to one of their creatures again. But if I get it for 1 turn, sometimes I can do some fun things. He's another experiment. I don't have that many things 5 CMC or greater in here. Not that many. But he doesn't make the ones I do have cheaper. Spells you cast with CMC 5 or greater cost 1 less and can't be countered. That's also nice. He's flashy, he's flying, he's 4/5. He is Thrix the Sudden Storm. Venser, Shaper Civil. 2 blue for a 2/2 human wizard. He's flashy. When he drops into play, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. So get rid of something for a little while, take a break until you can deal with it. Or go all out because you know you can't deal with it next turn. But try to get some value. Walking Sponge. 1 in a blue for a 1/1. Summon Sponge. It's a sponge. Yes. It is a sponge. Target creature loses flying, first strike, or trample until end of turn. Sometimes that's really useful. Sometimes it's not. I guess we'll find out. Ether Spouts. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on top or the bottom of his little insurance policy. So if I'm getting attacked and I can't deal with it, I can't handle it. Of course, its owner chooses top or the bottom. But in any case, they would all need to be drawn again and recast again, and then summoning sickness. So should work out pretty good. And then I have Bluster Squall. So if somebody looks like they're going to attack me, if Long Pete has Jabari out and he's giving me the sideways eye, then Long Pete, when you declare your attackers, attack step, you go to combat. Okay, let's tap everybody's creatures. I don't want to get attacked. And it's all only for 4. 3 and a blue, overload it. Tap every creature you don't control. Yeah, counterspell. Blue, counter target spell. Disallow. It's Void Slime. It's Void Slime where they've replaced the green with 1 colorless. It's the same damn thing. The Indomitable. I wanted a ship in this deck. I thought about putting Merchant Ship, and I told myself I really should, and I will, and I ended up not. But I have this ship. 2 blue for a 6/6 vehicle, which does not sound right. Calling a ship a vehicle does not sound right at all. But anyway, if it gets screwed for 3, okay, screw it for 3, and it becomes a 6/6 trampler. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to player, draw. So every creature. Whenever a creature, not whenever one or more, any of that bullshit. So if I hit one of my opponents with 3 creatures, I draw 3 cards. And I can cast it from a graveyard if I have 3 or more pirates and/or vehicles. There are no more other vehicles in the deck. I don't think I have any pirates in the deck. Nope, she's a rogue. But I did think about putting Maskwood Neck, and there goes the battery. Okay, tea, battery, family stuff. There's a lot going on today, so let me just try to blitz through it so I get done. I was on the Indomitable for the battery died. Okay, Equilibrium. 1 blue. Enchantment. Whenever you successfully cast a creature spell, you may pay 1 to bounce a creature back to its owner's hand. Alright, so this is dual purpose. It bounces my creatures with a enter the battlefield ability, and it bounces my bonus creatures that I don't want to fucking deal with. Levitation. Creatures you control have flying. There might be a better way to do this. It only costs 4 though. 2 blue. All my creatures have flying. So it gets around Abyshin and supplements the Chroma's Memorial. Maybe I want something else in here. Something I thought about putting in here. I mentioned it, Maskwood Nexus. Maybe I should put Maskwood Nexus. Of course, then I only have 1 thing to give my creatures flying. And then I have Seedborn Muse to untap them. I'll see how it works. I'll see how the deck works. Garuka, as they call him in Czech. So Garuka, 2, there's a little bit of dust in there. Oh, maybe the car's just damaged. I don't know. It's got a kitty cat on it. This guy has played in a pro tour. So Garuka, 2 green. He's another card that's fallen out of favor now to think about it. I used to see Garuk all the goddamn time. Now I hardly ever see him. So anyway, 2 green, 3 loyalty planeswalker, +1 untap 2 target lands. Nice. -1, put a 3/3 green beast creature token into play. Not bad. -4, creatures you control get +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. So if I've got a shitload of 2/2s, and I make them all 5/5s, and they're flying, that's going to hurt somebody real bad. Arashi, the Sky Asunder. Alright, so I tore apart, or retired, Carador. So he got retired and I kept some of his component pieces. One of them is Arashi, the Sky Asunder. 3 green for a 5/5 spirit, so his power and toughness equal his mana cost. Not too bad at all. X, 1 green, tap, and he deals X damage target creature with flying. So he can kill flying creatures. I can channel him, but I'm probably not going to. for the people that aren't watching, just listening, channel X green. Discard Arashi, and you deal X damage. So if I spend, say, 8 mana, 2 green, 6 other, he will, and I discard him, he will deal 6 damage to each creature that's flying as an instant, at instant speed. So maybe that will be relevant. Avenger Zendikar. Well, I should be playing a lot of lands. So, if I'm playing a lot of lands, I need to make use of it somehow. He makes use of it somehow. 5 green for a 5/5 elemental. When he comes into play, I get a 0/1 green plant creature token. I get a shitty little plant for every land I have. But afterwards, whenever a land comes into play into my control, I get to put a +1. I can make all my plants bigger. And if he keeps going to the closet every turn, I will get more plants. Now that's going to be fucking hard to track. So, tracking the game state, he comes into play, let's say I get 6 plants. I've got a mana rock. So I tap mana rock, 6 lands. He comes into play, I get 6 plants. And then, next turn, I play the closet, and I play a land. So those 6 plants become 1/2s. Then he goes to the closet, and he comes back out, and he creates more plants. So I've got a batch of 1/2 plants, and then I've got a new batch of 0/1 plants. And if I keep doing that, it's going to be fucking hard to track. It's going to be a goddamn nightmare. But I'll do it anyway and see how it works. Green Slime. 2 and a green, but I'll be foretelling it. So during my turn I can pay 2 and exile it face down. And from then on, anytime I can play it for 1 green and flash into play to counter an activated or triggered ability for an artifact or enchantment. And if I counter an ability this way, it destroys that permanent. So this is kind of like Void Slime, in a way. Here she is, Jorel. So I've got Homosexual Horde, and I've got Jorel. Each one, whenever I draw my second card each turn, I get a 2/2 token. She makes kitty cat tokens. Homosexual Horde makes copies of itself, which is kind of weird because usually those people don't breed, make copies of themselves. But anyway, so 4 green. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where that's the number of cards in my hand. So if I'm drawing a bunch of cards by playing lands, and I've got Reliquary Tower out, then let's say I have 6 cards in my hand, 8 cards in my hand, something, for 6, I make all those tokens big, and I smash. So, yeah. Yamama the East Tree. 4 green for 6. I'm trying to get through this really quickly now because it's almost time to go to the pub and play and see how this deck runs. 4 green for a 6/6 Reaching Spirit. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under control, it was not put on the battlefield with his ability. You may put a permanent card with equal or lesser CMC from your hand into play. So when he comes into play, if he's in play, I can play a land, and then I can play another land. And then if I have another land in my hand, and I trigger Thawing Glaciers, because it doesn't say once per turn. If I trigger Thawing Glaciers and I get another land, and I've got another land in my hand, I can play that too. So, the trick is to get him out, though. The trick is to get him out in the first place. That's why I took him out of Korvald, because he wasn't running that quickly. So, I put him here to see if this blue-green deck is more suitable for him. No Mage Shepherd. If I'm making tokens, and I've got green, I'm going to have one of her, because she can task those tokens, tap those tokens to destroy things. Let's say I've got 8 creatures, including her. Because she doesn't tap to do it. She just says, okay, pick 4 creatures, tap them, and blow up an artifact or enchantment. I don't care what. So if you've got 4 other creatures, you can do it again. It's not tap her and tap 3 other creatures. It's just tap 4 and tap creatures and blow something up. Otherwise, 3 in the green for a 2/4 elf shaman. And they're getting rid of shaman. Cook.
Who is she?
That's No Mage Shepherd.
Shepherd?
Shepherd.
Okay.
No Mage Shepherd.
No mage.
Null Mage. Not No Mage.
Weird.
And this is a Snake Man.
Okay. But snakes don't have arms.
Well, he does, because he's a Ramunap Excavator.
No.
Ramunap Excavator. I need to slow down to pronounce that.
The escalator.
Yeah, he's an escalator for
Yes.
lands.
He's an escalator. And we're gonna go on him down to the metro.
Okay, well, he does let me play lands from a graveyard, and he has a 2/3 for 2 and a green for 3, so. And this is Reclamation Sage. When he comes into play, I can destroy an artifact or enchantment. She.
Oh.
It's a girl.
Good.
But when she comes into play, I get to destroy an artifact or enchantment. And this is Scavenging Ooze.
Oh.
It's an ooze. Ooh. So it costs 1 in the green, and I can spend 1 green, exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, this creature gets bigger and I gain life. So if it eats dead creatures, it gets bigger and I gain life.
Tata.
What?
I'm going out and block. That's weird.
Yep, that is weird. Scrib Ranger. 1 in the green, flash, 1/1 flying fairy with protection from blue, which is quite relevant. Quite often. Return a forest you control to its owner's hand and tap target creature. Play this ability only once per turn. So again, she lets me bounce lands back to my hand so I can replay them with Tatyova or AC. Or Yomama the East Tree, and gain more value from Tatyova or AC. Muse Need the Grand. Seedborn Muse. So 3 green for a 2/4 spirit. And during your opponent's untap steps, you untap with them. So even if I have hourglass counters on my stuff from the temporal distortion, when it's my opponent's untap step, I will get to untap with them. During my turn, though, I will not get to untap the permanents with hourglass counters on them, because that's what the card says. But anyway, she's just good. She's always good. Okay, we're almost done. Sylvan Safekeeper, 1/1 for a green, sack a land, target creature control gain Shroud. So if I'm going to be able to play more lands, I should have enough lands to, if somebody's going to target one of my creatures, and I don't want them targeted, I can keep them safe by losing a land. Timeless Witness, 4 green, 2/1 Human Shaman, which, like I was saying, they're getting rid of the word shaman because fucking wizard is stupid and it's racist or something. I don't know. They're retarded. They've gone off the fucking deep end. I'm stopping an Ether Drift. Fuck this. I love the game. I love the old cards. There are some new cards I don't mind, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't deal with the company. I don't want to deal with their bullshit. I don't want to deal with the crap that they're throwing at us. I don't want to deal with their poor quality. I don't want to deal with the price. I don't want to deal with any of it. There are enough old cards to keep me busy for a long, long time. So, fuck them. Anyway, she is a human shaman. When she comes to play, I get to return the target card from a graveyard to regrowth. She's just like Eternal Witness, except I can spend a shitload of mana and create a tokenless copy of her, which I don't do because I can just bounce her. Timeless, no, I was going to make a bouncer joke, but then I thought better of it. So anyway, Tireless Provisioner, 2 and a green for a 3/2 Elf Scout. Never land enters the battlefield under my control. I either get food or treasure. Nice. Titania, Protector Vargoth. So Titania here, 3 green for a 5/3. When she comes to play, return target land card from my graveyard to the battlefield. So the lands that I've been eating with the Sylvan Safekeeper or the Constant Mist, once you see it, I can bring back with her. Whenever a land I control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, I get an elemental. I could do some tricks with Zero and Orb and all that, but I just didn't. I'll think about that later. I'll see how this version runs and then see what I want to change after tonight. And if she goes to the closet, of course, I get another land back from a graveyard to the battlefield. Cultivate. 2 and a green. Go find 2 basic lands. Put one in your hand. Put one in play tapped. Yo Mama's Reach. It's the same thing. Splendid Reclamation. 3 and a green. Return all lands from graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So if I'm drawing a lot of cards and I have not picked up Reliquary Tower and put it in play, if I have to discard, I can discard lands, and then I can also sacrifice lands with the Sylvan Safekeeper if I need them, knowing I have this as a backup. So at some point, if I draw this, I can return all lands from a graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Of course, as we know, usually Commander game ends about the time you've gone through a third of your deck to half of your deck. So maybe I'll never see it. Attempt with discovery. Oh, yes. The trick with this card, this time, is going to be convincing my opponents that, no, I do not have any bullshit lands. I don't have Yavimaya Hollow, I don't have Nykthos, obviously no Cabal Coffers, no Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. This is here, really, so I can get that damn Reliquary Tower. I can go find it. In addition to, Rishid Port, other fun lands, just to get fun lands. There's none of the lands I have are really game breaking. The problem is I have cast this so many times and gotten Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth that my opponents might forget the colors I'm playing and think that's what I intend to do. But as always, somebody will take the offer. Somebody will not want to take the offer, and somebody will be sitting on the fence. And if you can push that guy off the fence into taking the offer, the fourth guy, 9 times out of 10, will take the offer too. So for 4 mana, you get 4 lands. What's not to love? Constant Mist. 1 in the green, buy back, sacrifice a land. Fog. Creatures do low damage to combat this turn. So, in a pinch, if I need to, I can cast this and sacrifice a land to put it back in my hand so I can do it again. Now, if it gets countered, then it's countered. I don't get to buy it back because it doesn't take effect. Burgeoning. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is great with Thawing Glaciers. This is why I have Ghost Town in here. It's just a good card. Words of Wilding. It could be that I'll get in a position where I want creatures over cards. So if this works like I think it will, if it works really good, and I'm playing a bunch of lands, getting a bunch of lands into play, drawing a bunch of cards, I can sacrifice, or even Consecrate a Sphinx. Instead of drawing cards, I can make bears. I'm not sure if this is the deck for this, but it worked really well in the sacrifice version Corvold. Really well. Jesus Christ. But I'll see if it works here. So that's the last card. That's Tatyova, Bet the Druid. Let me know what you think in the comments below. After you've subscribed, come on. What are you people doing? A lot of people are watching. Subscribe. Help a brother out.